Hey there, everybody. When I was out in the gardens yesterday, I noticed something. I noticed it a little while ago, but, um, visual differences, remarking on past videos and things like that. So, uh, you know, in my opinion, of all the follow-up videos I could choose to do, this is certainly one of them. We are over on the southern end of the persimmon bed, which is this strip here, and the persimmons are generally hiding either in the bee balm or, in the case of the one down at the end, coming up pretty strong with their regrowth after dying back to the crown. But that's not really what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today are these little guys. There are 3 of them in this bed on this edge. I planted a few more in there. But what these are black chokeberries, Aronia melanocarpa, and these guys were grown hungry. And about a month ago, link in the video corner to the original video if you'd like to see them when we first put them in. But so, these guys have come up super strong. They're sending up additional shoots from the bases where we planted them, and they have put on easily 2 feet of growth. And I'm just super impressed with their vigor and their stick-to-itiveness and their general pattern right now. I'm very impressed with them. I'm very pleased with their progress, and we haven't really done anything besides provide slightly additional mulching in the form of some of the mowed grass, keeping the edge here cleaner than it really is right now. But these are doing super well, and I chalk some of their success and some of their growth up to the fact that as we grew them, we did not feed them very much. They got, some nutrient in the pots with them, and we did feed them a bit when they were growing in their air prune boxes last year. I guess if I have a video of that, I'll link that here as well. But we've had difficulties on our site when planting in new plants to us that were super healthy and grown in rich, fertile soils, composts, and the like. They always seem to struggle when they first get here, and much like the persimmons did, sometimes we get dieback and then a flush of regrowth as the plant rebalances to what the nutrient availability in our soils is like. Obviously, with our practices and the way that we grow and the way that we're depositing materials, we are improving the soil, but New England rocky sand is not exactly the best substrate for growing things, unless you're planning to do a whole bunch of feeding or something like that. So these are doing better than other plants of the same nature that we have planted before. I hope that plane noise isn't nearly as bad as it just was. So I don't want you folks to go and think, oh, I should stop feeding my plants, I should stop giving them the nutrients and cycling minerals and using composts and things. That's not what this video is about. But I think it is worth the investment in thought to consider the state of the soils on your site or at your property, and think about the deficit of nutrient when comparing a grower or a nursery's practices with where your soils are at that time. It may be worth finding someone who grows plants more lean and less for the type of vigor and color that you see now that they're planted. There is something to be said about the genetic expression on seed-grown plants when it comes to looking for, searching out, and digging down for the nutrient and the water and all of the bits that go into making more of a plant. The thought that I have, I guess, one that is a topic of debate, I suppose, but plants that have had to really search for nutrient when they're being grown out for their first year, as the plant is learning, air quotes, how it's going to survive to the point that it can reproduce, because that's their genetic directive. When they have to dig for it and have to really search it out, there seems to me to be a difference in growth patterns once they are planted in actual native soil. The genetic expression for finding the nutrients plays out in a much larger scale and to a much greater benefit, in my perception, for the plant and the garden overall. Plants that have had it easy or that have been force-fed things, even slow-release fertilizers like Osmocote, things like that, they don't have to try as hard. And so they don't express those genes that would cause them to behave that way, whereas the hungrier, leaner plants seem to take whatever soil they are put into, and once they set down their feet, seem to truly run. So, some food for thought for you all on your growing practices. If you're growing bulk quantities of plants, if you're doing a home scale version of air prune boxes, either for plants that you want to see more of in a regenerative capacity or a sales capacity because you're trying to grow a nursery like us. Sometimes on the sale plants, I walk a fine line between display viability and the types of plants people want to buy, and the types of plants that I know will do better in the long term despite what their appearance is in the pot. And so, yeah, that's my thought on the genetic expression of hungry plants in a nursery or sale context, and a bit of advice from my perspective to all the gardeners out there who do this sort of thing. So, till next time, thanks for watching. Happy planting.